Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show podcast. Hello if you're new. So today's podcast is going to be a review of Love Island 2020 episode 27. So obviously today's episode is the aftermath of Naz's shock exit and of course the new boy coming in and going on a date with Shauna and Demi. So obviously in the beginning of the episode we see the continuation of the dumping. Naz is gone. I still can't believe that he went. Obviously in my last podcast I discussed the reasons why I thought he left. Everybody seems to be very upset. Everyone's singing his praises in the confessional. One thing I thought was quite interesting is that he pulls Demi for a chat before he leaves and basically says that, he's wishing her the best and he hopes now after the fact that he's left that she can enjoy her journey on the show. I thought that was a bit interesting. I'm not going to lie, I thought that was a bit of image control because I feel like they've had this conversation time and again. I'm not sure why he would think it would be so important for him to pull Demi to the side when they've literally had this conversation before. I personally think this was definitely a strategic thing. I think he knows very well that him breaking it up with Demi is probably one of the main reasons why he's been sent home. So therefore, he now wants to redeem his image by talking to Demi. I don't think Demi was that special to Naz for him to go out of his way to do that. So I have to call strategy on that, definitely. But what do you guys think? Do you think that was a genuine moment for Naz and Demi? Or do you feel like that was some image control going on, some reputation control going on? Obviously, they both leave. The exit VT is quite interesting as well because they both kind of talk about, seeing how it goes on the outside, but you could tell by Eva's face that she's over it. She's came what she did to do. She realizes that she picked the wrong guy. She probably should have gone for somebody else in the house, probably Luke M. And she's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I thought I was going to last to the final with this guy and now I'm out and he's talking about making things work on the outside. I don't think they're going to last very long on the outside. There's no incentive for Eva to carry on this fake relationship. So I think by the time she comes home, she's just going to stop picking up Naz's calls and texts. But what do you guys think? Do you think they might try and make it work on the outside for image purposes, for PA purposes, or do you feel like they're just going to look off the relationship? Another interesting development that we saw in the episode is that Ched and Jess obviously have a talk after the dumping, and Ted said that he would have walked with Jess, which I find very interesting. Now, I don't think that is necessarily out of the question. I think that would actually be a smart thing to do for Ched, to leave with Jess so that they could do the whole relationship PA thing. Because with a week left, no one would really care about Ched outside of his coupling with Jess. So I don't think that would be out of the question. I definitely don't think he would leave because he actually had really strong feelings for Jess and wanted to be with her. I think that would be a strategic move for his image and his bag. So I don't think that would have been out of the question, but I don't think there would ever be a scenario where someone would pick Ched over Jess. So again, that could have just been said for decoration, for brownie points. And then obviously we see Natalia and Luke basically address Luke M moving on to Demi. She was saying things like, she can give you what I can't give you. And I was just like, girl, you're being so extra. You're talking like you guys were actually in a legit relationship. Like, you guys didn't even kiss, I don't even think. And then she was saying, she doesn't understand why he's being so nice to her. Like, why isn't he being mean to her? Like, he's so nice. And I think she was being honest there because I feel like she wanted him to be mean so that the fact that she's crying makes her look even more vulnerable because she would be crying and then he would be being mean to her. So the fact that she's crying after doing him dirty and now he's being nice to her, she knows that must look very bad on TV. But yeah, Natalia, she literally just saved by the skin of her teeth. I think she could potentially be the next one out because I don't think this new boy is checking for her. So the next day, interestingly enough, Luke is finally making breakfast I'm not sure if he's made breakfast before, but this is the first time we are ever seeing him make breakfast, and it's for Demi. So obviously he's trying to make things work for Demi. He's trying to impress Demi. And then obviously Shauna gets the text for a date with Jamie. So obviously Shauna and Jamie go on a date. He's Scottish. He's a cheeky chappy. And things seem to be kind of going well on the date. They're bouncing off each other. And he's looking like a decent guy until he starts mentioning Callum. Now, I don't know why he mentioned Callum. For me personally, it's a pet peeve to mention exes on a date, especially when you know they've broken up badly. I just don't understand why you would mention that on the very first date. You know, he says that, Naz went around things the right way and Callum didn't. And I've already said my piece on Callum. I don't think Callum did anything wrong per se in his conduct in Casa Amor. I just feel like he's trying to get on Shauna's good side. He's trying to get brownie points, whether that's from Shauna or the public, because he's probably assuming that Shauna is quite popular. And then he's saying, he's going to have a talk with Callum. Obviously, we did not see that in this episode. I'm not sure if he's going to have a talk with him in the next episode, but this Jamie guy needs to just mind his business. I don't know why he even think that is acceptable to even talk to Callum about anything. That is just, I just feel like he's trying to make a name for himself, to be honest. I don't know he would want to be defending Shauna after knowing her like 2 hours. And fighting her ex-boyfriend. Not even her ex-boyfriend, her ex-acquaintance. I just don't know where they do that at. I'm not really sure if I'm feeling this new guy, Jamie. So, obviously, Demi also gets picked for a date. Things go well on the date. Interestingly enough, he doesn't bring up Naz on the date, which makes me extra suspicious about, him bringing it up with Shauna. He does mention Luke M, but obviously they are a thing right now, so that would be acceptable because they are, a little thing right now. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. But it seemed like they did get along well on the date. It did seem like they have a little bit of banter. I feel like there's more of a spark with Luke M and Demi. But, Demi seems to be entertaining the situation. So obviously, Shauna comes back to the villa and she's, telling the tea to the girls. She's saying that Jamie isn't her type, but she's warming to him. He has a good chat. He has a good personality. But she also mentions the Callum thing. And I thought that was messy on Shauna's part because Molly was there. She knew Molly was there and she was saying he said that Naz went around it the right way, but Callum didn't. And I just never even thought about that. And obviously Molly's there. She's making a face because obviously Molly's been in Casa Amor. She knows what Callum was doing. So she's just probably thinking, that is very strange for somebody who's not involved in the situation to bring up. But yeah, that was a slight dig there. And like I said, Shauna is definitely plotting and she's going to, if there's ever going to be a situation where she can use it to try and drive a wedge between Molly and Callum, she's definitely going to do that. So then obviously Molly pre-warns Callum about Jamie potentially coming up to him and speaking to him about Casa Amor. Obviously we haven't seen him do that yet. I'm not even sure if he's going to. But Molly just basically tells Callum, just nod your head and say, okay, it's not even worth an argument. And I feel like Molly is smart. That is just the best way to deal with things, especially when people are just chatting utter shit. Just say okay and keep it moving. It's not worth the energy of putting an argument on. Molly is smart. So obviously Jamie makes his entrance into the villa. He actually fits in quite well. He's bantering off the boys. In the confessional, it seems like he thinks of himself as a threat. Obviously, he is a threat to Luke M, but I feel like he wants to be more of a threat to Callum. And I think maybe we might see some conflict between him and Callum. And I don't even think it's because he doesn't like Callum. Like I said, I have a feeling that this Jamie guy is trying to make a name for himself. Obviously, we have a little challenge. And in the challenge, we reveal some interesting sex facts about the British population. So the average, apparently, according to these surveys, obviously this is just an estimation, the average sexual partner for Britons are an average of 10. I thought it would be much higher, to be honest. That was quite interesting. Another interesting thing, it wasn't a fact, but the way that Mike was humping this pump, very extra. But then obviously, other facts is that the percentage of women over 30 who still have sex are 30%, which I thought, again, was quite interesting. I wouldn't think it would be so low. Men cheating, 45% of men have admitted to cheating. So obviously that is quite high. I don't think... So obviously that is quite high. I don't think anyone is surprised by that. Obviously, I think women cheat less, but I think women are now starting to cheat more. What do you kind of think the percentage for women cheating is? I think it would be around 35, I think. But I think women are definitely better at getting away with cheating because men are just messy out here. A considerable amount of women fake orgasms. I don't think that's a surprise there. I feel like it's just been common knowledge. And then obviously after the challenge, we see Luke M and Demi having a talk. Demi, interestingly enough, tells Luke M that she wants to get to know Jamie. Obviously, she still wants to, get to know Luke M as well, but she wants to leave the door open for Jamie. I thought that was quite interesting because I would have thought she would have had her gameplay goggles on and would have assumed her and Luke M will be a better and stronger couple coming into the final week, and she would have just stuck with that. But I guess Miss Demi is now deciding, I'm really just going to have fun out here. She's probably said to herself she's not going to win, so she just wants to have a hot girl summer and she just wants to enjoy the rest of her week in here. So Luke is not impressed. He's basically telling her, giving her this whole sob story of, oh, I've been in a love triangle before. I don't like being second best. And, in the confessional, he's saying, he's not here to fight for a woman. And, that's not a surprise because we saw the way he tried to fight Mike and he just lost. So I feel like he doesn't want to put himself through that anyway because he has no game and he has no fight in him. In terms of Luke, feeling that way is one thing, but I don't think he should have said that. For me personally, that would be a turn off because I'd feel like you're trying to guilt trip me into committing to you. That's what I personally think. Me, insecurity is not attractive to me. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think Luke M has a point here, or do you feel like he just needs to step up his game? But then obviously after that, Demi kisses him, and then obviously he's saying, he's getting mixed messages. He tells Shanice Luke T that just gave him mixed messages. Demi is kind of thinking in her head, yes, she's giving him mixed messages. She's talking to Jess. Jess is saying, I think maybe I prefer you and Luke M together, but, this is your chance to figure things out. You're here for yourself. You've got to make sure you've made the right decision. Now, I can understand why Luke might have gotten mixed messages from that because of the way that Luke is and what we've seen from him. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a little kiss here and there. I don't know. I don't think that a kiss is now commitment, If you've only been talking to this person a couple days, I don't know why this now, me kissing you is now me having to commit to you. Because in the real world, people just be having sex and not committing to people. So what is a kiss really? I don't know, maybe it's because it's a different type of dynamic in Love Island, so it's different. But what do you guys think? Do you think Demi should be allowed to just live her best life and kiss Luke and still get to know this Jamie guy? Or do you feel like she's giving Luke mixed messages? Let me know what you think. Personally, I think that Demi should just stick with Luke M. I think that would do better for her game. But I feel like she can get away with exploring two options, and I think that she knows she can get away with exploring two options. Or what do you think? Do you think that Demi's not going to be able to get away with this? I personally don't. I'm not sure if she'll get further. I'm not sure if she'll make it to the final if she picks this Jamie guy and this Jamie guy picks her. I think she'll probably have a safe bet just sticking with Luke M. I think personally she should just stick with Luke M in terms of her gameplay. So then obviously in the first look, we know there's going to be the tweet challenge, and it seems like some of these tweets or one of these tweets are going to be aimed at Mike. Mike is definitely going to be in the hot seat. It seems like things are getting heated between Shauna and Mike. Obviously, I've said it in my podcast before. They both know they don't like each other, but they haven't really addressed the beef. Specifically Shauna, because I feel like Shauna is the main perpetrator here. She has just been saying so much sly stuff, and Mike has just been letting it slide. And I think, in the next episode, I think we're finally going to see Mike having enough and checking Shauna. But in terms of who do you think, who the tweets are going to come for, because obviously the producers are very selective on, who they're going to throw their heat on, I think it would be interesting to see, obviously, some tweets about Mike, some tweets about Callum, some tweets about Natalia. That would be quite interesting. I'm not sure who else. Who would you like to see some roasting tweets from? People are excited for the drama between Mike and Shauna in tomorrow's episode. People are showing love for Shanice and the Lukes. People are saying that Luke M can't catch a break. People are saying that Shauna is starting to get on their nerves and they're not here for how she comes for Mike. Honestly, I don't really know what her problem with Mike is. I really don't. I don't think Mike has done anything to deserve the amount of the amount of slide digs that Shauna has directed at him. People are saying that Shauna has an obsession with Mike. People are not here for Demi stepping out of her relationship with Luke M. People are saying that the producers hate Luke M. People are here for when Jamie said, "Hey, I can fill any holes you've got." That was a very bold statement. People are saying that they're confused by the statement of Eva being the life of the party. People are speculating that Jamie is another Greg. I suspect it as well. People are here for Jamie, asking if Molly is free. Obviously, Molly does say that Jamie is fit, but I think Molly is smart and going to stick with Callum. People are pointing out that Callum said that's fair about the 45% of men cheating. Well, I guess Callum technically hasn't ever cheated on anyone because he's never had a girlfriend. That's pretty much the roundup of the tweets. For those of you wondering, my handle is at shannonbafundilaenquiries. The link is in the bio. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you thought of this podcast. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you have, don't forget to press that notification bell so you'll know when the next podcast is dropping. Till next time, guys. Bye.